Okay, everybody's got a fucking podcast. I mean, we have a podcast, so obviously anyone can do it.
Wait, this is a podcast?
Are you recording right now?
Technical difficulties.
No, you don't have to say anything. I'm gonna edit it out.
Technical difficulties.
Okay.
I put mayonnaise on a pickle.
It was not the best, but it might have been the worst.
Do my feet? I mean, my feet stink, right?
Yeah. All right, this is Content Crisis. I am Tyler. Jason can't talk right now.
And I'm Charles.
Ed Charles is that guy. You might remember him from some of our older videos.
I'm back.
He's back. So glad to have him. We just saw Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny. You probably guessed that. You clicked on the video or the podcast or whatever.
Best movie in existence.
I thought this movie was total and absolute fucking garbage, and they've managed to shit on this iconic franchise 2 times now with Crystal Skull in this. What'd you guys think?
So I definitely don't feel like that negatively about it.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely wasn't the best Indiana Jones movie. But, I mean, I would 100% watch this movie again before watching Crystal Skull again.
I could agree with that.
Maybe. I don't want to watch either of them at all.
Sure.
No, this one felt worse to me than Crystal Skull, honestly.
I felt like Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones definitely was like kind of just a grumpy old man a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't like that
We lost
at
out
all.
on a lot of like the wit and kind of like some of that like just humor.
The classic Indiana Jones stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as Indy goes, he was not himself. I mean, now granted, he's an old man, and you shouldn't have made another fucking movie anyway. You shouldn't have made Crystal Skull. It was always supposed to be a trilogy. That's what Lucas and Spielberg talk about a lot in a lot of the special feature stuff.
But money.
Going through those 3 movies. Right,
Yes,
obviously
that's
money.
Which you really didn't need, if you think about it.
Right?
I mean,
you
He
made
needs
all
some
your money.
royalties, man. That movie's going on to the streaming services. People are gonna be paying $20 to rent it for 48 hours.
yeah,
It's true.
but he was in Star Wars. Not even talking about the original like series. I'm talking about like the original trilogy. I'm talking about like the recent ones, the ones with Rey. I was like, that's all he needed. Like he could have been GG's after that.
Right.
I mean, it's Star Wars. Like who
Yeah.
did not go see? What was that episode?
Force Awakens.
Whatever, 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that awakened in me in this was just a mild amount of disappointment, really. Like, it could have been worse, but, like, I don't know. I don't want to jump to just complaining about some, like, the ending bits of it there, but, like, definitely what really lost on me was just, like, Indy as a character and Harrison Ford being able to play Indy as that character. It just felt very, like, hollow-shelled, and I get that we're dealing with, like, a significantly older Indy in this, too, but, like, it didn't feel like Indy was in that character in any way. It felt like we were dealing with like an old guy who was like, you know what it was? It's Sean Connery. He showed up
Oh man.
and he did, the bare minimum. He collected his paycheck and that's what it felt like a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, it really felt like, yeah. I mean, I absolutely agree with that. And Harrison just didn't seem like into it. I didn't think, even though like like the one interview I saw, he like seemed very, very touched by the ending of it or whatever, and he even hinted that this was like the end of the character. I thought for sure he was dead. Going into this movie.
Yeah, I 100% thought he should have died in this.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you, I didn't watch any of the trailers or anything for this one because I was like, let's just go in as raw dogging it as possible.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it.
Well, sometimes it is. We talk about this. Sometimes there's.
It's always the best.
Me and Tyler frequently talk about this, but no,
Wait,
where
wait,
it's the trailer doesn't really like do it justice. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
it doesn't
yes.
really portray
Yes,
the
our bad
movie.
trailer part of the show. Absolutely,
we anchor that pretty heavily there, and yeah, I don't know. Even just trying for me to picture out a trailer of this, like I feel like no matter what, it would still be kind of underwhelming, I guess, in reference to the movie we got. Because it did seem like a lot of the stuff was just very flat. Like there weren't a lot of those like big swells. Like the action sequences didn't really hit like those, ridiculous peaks in a lot of those moments that it should have. I felt like it couldn't get up there.
To me, it felt like we were just too focused on all of our action sequences, especially in the beginning there. Which some of that really looked bad when they had Indy running on the top of the train.
Yeah.
Like just really kind of choppy. But yeah, man, it just felt more concerned with its action sequences, and it didn't feel like an Indiana Jones movie. I mean.
So would it be wrong to say that this was a bad modern take on an Indiana Jones style movie rather than an Indiana Jones movie?
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, I would say yes.
Like it didn't feel like a lot of that heart and like that core foundation was there, and this was just like a not as good interpretation of a modern indie,
Right.
or I guess modern budget indie. It was still whenever the moon landing happened.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just thought Crystal Skull was even though the movie itself was dog shit, I just felt it was a good way to leave Indy. He's back with Marion. He's got this kid. It's like, okay, like Indy's whole again. Because like at the end of Crusade, he's been with a different woman in every movie. He's always kind of running around. He's getting older, right? And he's still not. And then he kind of rediscovers, oh, Marion, like, what? I have a kid, and then like he gets married at the end, and it's all done. And then we had to reunite with Marion again, and then they fucking reuse that goddamn. Where's it hurt? Is it hurt here?
Yeah, just the utmost
Is it here?
fan service.
It's like,
and
it
it's
fucking
like,
doesn't
yeah.
hurt on the crack of my ass. Why don't you lick that?
Yikes.
Fucking, I don't know. I was very utterly disappointed with this movie.
We can see
I don't know.
that visibly.
Yeah.
It's dripping off of you.
Well, here's the thing, man. Like I'd seen a lot of people had said like it was garbage. But you just see, like, I'm not seeking this stuff out, but just kind of scrolling.
The
through
general
the socials.
consensus was that this was
Right.
disappointing.
Cabbage Patch.
And but like I didn't want to let any of that affect me, and so like I went into this and I wanted to like it, But like in that opening sequence with I'm like, okay, so we're back to the Nazis now.
So yeah, just let's talk about the opening sequence in general, right? If we just focus on the old-faced Harrison Ford and them, number one, just being involved with the Nazis again. I'm so sick of Nazis.
I'm done.
I'm so done. It's so. I'm sick of it. So just
Same.
for us seeing just the like that's what we open up to is like, oh, it's just Harrison Ford and some Nazis again.
Yeah.
It's like, what more could we possibly do?
Can we think of anything else? And then the Russians took the place of the Nazis in the last movie.
Yeah.
And it's just like, can we think of anything else but the fucking some evil government, right, or the perceived evil of the Russians in the in that era, and like just they want to harness some power, that should be in a museum.
Everything should be in a museum. Harrison Ford should be in a fucking
Harrison
museum.
Ford needs to be in a
Oh,
museum.
with that run that he was doing, he absolutely should have been in a museum.
Yeah.
God.
I was like, my man's getting old. Y'all need
Yeah.
to let this shit go.
But yeah, just kind of like the CGI effects and stuff too, just in that beginning scene, and it's like they definitely put forth a little bit of effort in like the more like still frames to make him look young and hot and everything there, but.
Yeah.
During like any of kind of like the action and movement stuff there, like it seemed like they were very intentionally trying to like blur and obfuscate his face so they didn't have to put as much time and effort in
Money.
making it run through.
I mean, it very much looked like they were using like the done-up Indy from Temple, like when they go to dinner and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You have any guesses on what the tomato meter is from like the actual critics?
Out of
It's the percentage, yeah.
percentage,
Yeah.
I would say 48.
I'm gonna go with 64.
68% on the tomato meter. What would you say the audience score is?
Bless you.
Jesus.
Thank you.
48.
32.
88.
What?
Son of a bitch.
What audience? Show me the audience and which version of this movie they saw that they gave it an 88%.
Yeah.
That's wild. Like, here I am trying to defend it, and then I hear that, and I'm outraged.
like, what the
Like,
fuck?
it was not 88%.
Like, it wasn't
good.
bad.
That's
And then
for
he's just
fun.
like,
I guess, like, coming from, what Tyler was talking about, it's like, you're probably coming in like this was like 20, 30%.
If I had to give it a rating, yeah. I mean, like, it's if we're doing letter grades, like, it's an F. Like, guys, I don't really like to rate.
I know, but just throwing it in a box, like, that's what I was expecting from you. Like,
did we stop doing that?
it just feels like pretentious, and I don't know. I don't like it.
we don't know how to grade things in the same scale and in the same
What?
reference.
You want me to drink that?
Do you want some?
Yeah, let's
No,
share
I
the
would
singular
not like to
Budweiser.
share the Budweiser with you.
Let's
thank
get
you.
some straw. Can we get some
Can we get
straws?
some
Trying to be
straws?
nice.
Yeah.
We don't need straws. We'll just spit into each other's mouth.
Oh, good. That's the version
Good,
of this
good.
I was hoping for. That's the content you pay extra for, folks. OnlyFans, right here.
I'm telling you. Back to the OnlyFans
Let me
thing.
call my dog. She'll bring us some straws in here.
Yeah.
All right.
I can see it now.
All right, so consensus for the critics. It isn't as thrilling as earlier adventures, but the nostalgic rush of seeing Harrison Ford back in action helps Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny find a few final bits of cinematic treasure. No.
No.
Audience says, with plenty of entertaining action and a few surprising twists, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny ends the series on a high note. No.
Also no.
Also no.
Let's take it back a little bit, right? So if we look at Crystal Skull, we look at Dial of Destiny. We've always had, these action scenes. We've had the long out like car vehicle chases. Like that's pretty stapled, right? Those always exist. As you know, I have mixed feelings about
They were bad
elongated
in this
vehicle
one.
ones.
Okay, so I was at one point I felt like I was watching Tokyo Drift. I was like when they were
With
drifting,
the little
tuck
three-wheel
things.
deals? Yeah. I was like,
I was
fuck,
like,
dude.
Like, I mean, dude was hitting licks. Like, I was like, buddy.
Yeah.
I was like, am I tripping or am I watching Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift right now? Because like he was swanging that bitch.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way.
Oh,
There's no
is this
way.
Fast 12? Oh, okay.
Yeah, what did they just drop? They just dropped 10 back in June, so they dropped 11, a couple weeks later, and this is 12.
Well, that's probably the untapped timeline inside of Fast and the Furious.
It's the-
time travel and
Yeah.
alternate universes. That's
family.
That's the next
Yeah.
one. That's the next one.
That's the next one, right?
Time travel and family.
Yeah, oh yeah, I can
And
see it.
space. Space. Don't forget space.
Big bold letters, time travel and
It's
family.
unreal.
I just wanted to read a couple bad reviews.
Yeah.
You could fault the new cast members and insufferable Waller-Bridge in particular, but no, the bulk of the blame falls squarely on James Mangold, the filmmaker who was brave or foolhardy enough to take the reins from Spielberg. And then the one I like, which duplicates how I feel. Sigh deeply and move on.
Wow. That's petty.
Yeah, but Sign Deeply Moving On is not what a podcast is built off of. So
It's no, because
We're gonna bitch about that for
We're
another
not moving on. We're going to keep bitching about
It's that'd be a very short podcast.
yeah. So what one thing that does kind of
Now,
make
let's all do it real quick, though.
what?
Just
Oh,
all right. Let's move on.
Toodles. No.
all right. But so one thing that is kind of nice, I guess from like a storytelling perspective with this is the focus on space is no longer the thing, it's now time, right? Like time's the thing, and that's like the logical progression, it's space and time. And then end of the Crystal Skulls, we get the aliens, right? And logically, the only fantastical way we can outdo fucking aliens in space shit,
Time travel, baby.
time travel.
Yeah.
And
I don't know that we outdid it, though.
well, you know what I mean, but like as far as that like fantastical reaching, for some kind of plot line there,
That was
is,
quite the fucking reach.
it's quite a fucking reach. I mean, come on, time travel. Yeah.
We're not smart enough to understand how any of that works. Like,
And so one thing
it's all theoretical. Sorry.
One thing that I think is kind of important too is like, so with all of the like fantastical things that happen in these movies, they're all in proximity to Indy, but like none of it happens like directly to him. The fucking souls reaching out and getting snatched up and everything. It's just, it doesn't, I guess, feel like it happens directly to Indy, but in this one, like, he actually experiences the time travel. And I guess that also kind of takes away from it, is that it's like Indy can still keep himself grounded in like law and facts and reason, but he is physically traveled through time, and there is no explanation around that. And it seems like such an odd departure from like the you know, like having this character that's just grounded in reason, because these fantastical things happen, but not like directly to him, to where he's like evidence of those fantastical things, kind of.
Yeah, he doesn't have like any actual physical proof, and like he was saying, he's like, I don't believe in magic, but
I've
seen some shit. Like,
Yeah.
so I mean,
Yeah.
And kind of in that vein too. So like I do like just the acknowledgement of like I've seen some shit, because I feel like that never really comes up.
he never
He never
really
says,
mentioned
yeah, this
any
one
of his
time like 45 Nazis just, you know, evaporated.
45 Nazis ago.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to say which movie, because, you know, all these involve Nazis, so.
Yeah.
Most of them involve Nazis.
And he's like, yeah, well, you know, back in the first movie when we started doing this.
You drop all, like, yeah, just reason. Be like, well, you know, when we were doing filming for the first Indy, I remember thinking, oh, this is fucking weird.
That's just
They should
hilarious.
absolutely do like a 6 and just make it completely like fourth wall break the whole time. Just be like, hey, you remember in the first movie when all those Nazis' faces melted? That was crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
And literally, it's like hardly even a movie. It's just like Indy and some of the other cast, like at a bar, just drinking
It's
and
like-
talking stories, and it's just like cutaways to other shit that they've done in the other movies.
It's like legitimately just a fucking podcast
It's-
with like all the cast members.
It's
Oh
funny
my
that you said
God.
that they're all just like sitting in a bar, because like my first thought was like Short Round's all grown up now, but he still
Dude.
talks like super shitty English.
Can we say
He replaced Short Round with another little dude of color. Did you notice that?
right? Well, yeah. She starts telling that story, and that's when I typed it down on my phone. I was like, hey, can we talk about the fact that the best fucking character other than Indiana Jones himself in this series was Short Round, and we never once saw him again? What the fuck happened to Short Round?
I want to know what happened to Short Round.
Yeah, they definitely did him dirty, but I will say I was
Absolutely did him dirty.
so pleased to see Saul in this, though.
It was-
That was really nice to be able to see him come back. I heard, you know, after the punch-in, you hear his voice, and I'm like, yeah!
Yeah.
I don't know why, I got a soft spot for the man.
It was nice to see him, yes. Absolutely.
I feel like it's always good to see like
Yeah.
Well, especially because
someone
he's
from
like,
the
oh, I
original
brought my
series.
family to America. Like,
Right.
this is all, like, the, you know, fruits of your labors. Like, that's character continuation. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you do it throughout a series, throughout a franchise. You know, even if there are those huge time gaps, so,
Star Wars.
yeah.
I mean, it happened in Star Wars, but it was like you said, character continuation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
It was bad.
Yeah.
I meant
So I
Short
guess where would Short Round have kind of fit in this? We just kill out the other. I mean, we have to kill the kid, and so we kill out that other
Kill
kid,
the kid.
entirely, and then Short Round just takes his spot as like the adept, nimble, you know, pickpocket kind of thing. Maybe Short Round kills the kid.
Pickpocket, pilot.
Like Short,
yeah.
like then that's his grand entrance, right? It's like the kid's just running around. He steals
steals
something from
something
Short Round, and Short Round just like shoots him like point blank.
Whoa.
And then everyone has to like awkwardly cheer for Short Round, even though he just killed a kid.
And then Indy's like, hey, what are you? Short Round? Ah, fuck that kid.
Fuck that
What's
kid.
going on?
Buddy, it's been years. No, I would just
Man, that's dark.
like you could do it like the exact like wrong way too, like or well, okay. Here's the pitch for Short Round being brought back. So, Indy, you find Short Round. I don't know where, right? Like just maybe Short Round's a degenerate gambler, right? But he like never stopped wearing the clothes he wore in Temple of Doom.
Sure.
And so he's just fucking like he's just wearing a shirt that's too short for him, still the same little the same
Little
ball
hat.
cap that's like torn because his head's grown, you know.
Right.
And he's just like, Indy, ever since I lost you, like I didn't know what to do. And so he's just
So
like,
I just stayed exactly the same and waited for you to come back.
yeah, he just gambles, he plays cards, he cheats, he still keeps aces up his sleeve and shit. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's a good one.
And you know what, that works too, because he could have been at like that, buying the stolen artifacts thing, and it was like, oh yeah, this type of thing Indy might show up at,
Yeah.
and then
Oh, yeah.
that's where he would have found him, and that's where he could have shot the kid.
Yo. That's such a fucking terrible.
And you know what? He gets the hero moment because the kid's running with the half of the dial, and he shoots the kid and takes the dial. He's like, Indy, I got it.
I got the dial.
Indy.
I got the dial.
This kid was trying to run off with it, and he's like, well, he was actually trying to.
Help.
Hey, it's good to see you, man. Come on over here.
Like it's just the.
Yeah.
We gotta get out of
takes
here.
Takes his hat off and he's like, man.
This is not what I was expecting this day to turn out like.
Yeah. So I mean, okay. So aside from all my complaints, I felt like we had a little depth of character with Indy. Because at first I was just totally pissed, like, oh, fucking, he's just a drunk now, and he's divorced from Marion. Like, again, we ended this.
That's like the
last
only
movie
way you
on-
can handle like these like like pseudo action hero, adventure hero. I think is the term I was using before. But it's like that's the only way you can kind of like dispose of these guys. Is like, oh, they're alcoholics now. They went through a divorce. Like they're useless men now.
Yeah.
Let's give them a redemption arc. Like that's such a like trope that gets put on just like these older guys when they need to force another sequel out of the happy ending.
Right. Like,
It's
dude,
it's garbage.
to see him, like, he's giving his fucking award away on the sidewalk, and, he wakes up.
There's a cut
drunk.
of this movie where Indy went home that day and blew his brains out. You know what I mean? Like,
honestly.
you know what? Like it just doesn't make sense. Like his character is just so like defeated. Like
Yeah.
he's just already done.
It's very disappointing, and so I just like Indy's always been, despite Indy kind of being the I'm gonna make up the plan on the go type guy. Indy's always been somewhat put together, I would say, through these movies.
Yeah.
Despite his sporadicness, and
There's always a plan,
yeah,
or the loose findings
I was
of
gonna
a
say,
plan.
yeah,
he's
like-
definitely got the loose.
there's like there's a
groundwork for it.
trail. There's
I'll figure it out.
there's
I got enough.
there's
I got enough to go
breadcrumbs
with.
back to the trail.
Yeah.
Like he'll get
I
there.
think we could figure this out on the way here.
Yeah, I mean it's, but so I did not like the version of Indy where we're just like, oh yeah, now he's a drunk, now he's just yeah.
That's my
Well-
kind of people, though.
Well, fine, but like, I don't think we reduce Indy to that. I don't know.
Because Indy was hero level, right, for a lot of kids growing up. Like Indy was that guy. You wanted to be Indy. You bought the hat, you bought the whip and shit.
Yeah, we didn't-
You
we
got
didn't-
your mom and dad to buy
we
you the
didn't-
leather
we
jacket.
didn't have whips.
Everyone hated you. No one hung out with you.
We didn't do whip.
Charles didn't have the whip.
Yeah, whips weren't allowed in your house.
It was just the whole thing.
Yeah, no,
like-
sore subject, right?
Yeah, no, my grandpa did not like that. He wasn't about that at all.
Get that white devil off the TV. The whip.
Yeah, pretty much.
But you know what I mean? Like it's very much like a hero character. Like you looked up to this person, when these were like the movies you were growing up on. And to very like front and center, like make your hero this like defeated, empty shell.
of
Wakes
himself.
up with the fucking glass still in his hand with fucking liquor in it. Like that. I don't know. It's just.
Okay, first of all, like that, let me explain. Like, that'll never fucking happen with anyone. Like, there's no way you will fall asleep with a glass in your hand with liquor in it and wait, like, and it not get dropped on the floor.
You would have just dropped it.
There's
in the
no
middle of the
fucking
night.
way. There's no fucking way.
Unless rigor mortis had kicked in. At that
Yeah,
point.
you would absolutely have to die in your sleep.
He's so. Oh, that's what they meant by Indy died. Like, well, he died like for a moment.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Andy died a long time before this movie started.
To me, yeah. I mean, like, when I think of Indiana Jones, like, I will never. I will do all that is within my power to prevent myself from watching Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or The Dial of Destiny ever again.
Yeah.
And it didn't even look like a fucking dial. I'm just
Right.
saying, like, to me, that's not what a dial looks like. When you say the word dial, that is not what I fucking
I think like a sundial. That's
Yes.
really the only thing I can possibly think of.
that. a
But
bar
I
of
also
soap,
don't know
I don't
things.
fucking know, but that wasn't it.
Fucking bar of soap.
It wasn't
Indiana
it.
Jones in the bar of soap. Indy gets clean. No longer an alcoholic. This is like the like that bonus scene after this one. He gets all cleaned up. He cuts off the booze. He takes a shower. He takes a bath. Is what he does. He's got bubbles and
whole
everything.
bath.
It's a hot bath with Marion.
Epsom salt
Yeah.
because he's
Yeah.
old. Yeah.
Where doesn't it hurt?
Oh god.
Where doesn't it feel good?
God.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I was going somewhere with that. Oh, so where it kind of deepens though is you don't really hear anything about Mutt, and you're kind of sitting there going like, "Well, what? We established Mutt in the last movie just to be like, fuck it," and then they say, he tells what's her bitch.
Wombat. Wombat.
Yeah,
That's what-
yeah, Wombat. Is like,
That's
oh,
just-
yeah, Helena. Yeah,
No, her name is Wombat.
Well,
That's
yeah,
what we
either-
called her.
either
Wombat.
way.
Yeah.
Wombat.
You know what? That word makes me think of that fucking show Squidbillies. Do you remember watching that fucking show?
No, bro. I remember
my
seeing it,
God.
but I remember not a damn thing
They,
about
dude,
it.
they were like the most hick, like little fucking thing. It was on
Like
Adult
these
Swim.
like
It
weird
was so
octopus
stupid.
tentacle monsters with shotguns and
Yeah, but they were like mad fucking redneck. Like,
Oh,
dude
okay.
had like a fucking his shotgun was like, I mean, the fucking barrel was like this far past the fucking pump, and it was just like so silly looking.
Yeah.
And he had a bunch of dumbass hats like "I heart boobs" or some shit.
classic.
But that's what the word makes me think of.
That's what you
saying
just get.
wombat.
Look at Indy in there with the I heart boobs ball cap on,
I support single
showing up and
moms.
teaching the class.
Yeah.
Fucking silly.
It seems that he's committed to a career of being an actual professor. This movie, but
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why he's so defeated, because he's got actual office
like,
hours and shit. He's like, I actually have to teach
And you
people
see like
now?
all those
Like,
kids like just sitting in there
I
not
didn't
paying
give a
attention.
fuck.
And shit. Yeah,
Well, it's
he-
because none of them wanted to have sex with him.
he was.
That was his biggest problem.
That was probably. I mean,
You gotta think, all the other, classes he was teaching, he probably bagged at least 4 of them. And this one, not a single one was probably
4. I'd
interested.
say 4 on like the first day.
Well, that's the
Indiana
only day he
Jones?
probably showed up. He's never there.
Well, in the past, yeah.
I would have liked to see them continue that trend. He's just old as shit, but for some reason, women are just falling all over themselves to get with him.
Now, what the thing I do enjoy is that they did kind of take away like the fame and fortune that kind of came from his exploits, because we were still pretty convinced that he was like kind of a pseudo celebrity, local celebrity kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And like very much none of that exists here. He's at a seemingly pretty small college.
He's just a normal dude.
Yeah,
And
he's just a
normal
regular
dude.
guy, and maybe some of that comes from kind of like the failing marriage and stuff, and maybe he just sent Marion all the money, something like that. So like maybe it makes sense why he's just like kind of in a very basic life right now. But I guess at least as far as that consistency rolling through, like everything was kind of stripped away from him, both in the fame, the fortune, and people giving a shit about him. And then as well as the motivation in him giving a shit about him. So at least that level of consistency was there.
Tough.
Well, and then the son. So let's get to there. The son dies.
Yeah.
The son went and fought in the war
Good.
and died.
Good.
I'm glad Indiana Jones' son is dead.
He was a terrible sidekick in the last movie. Fuck him.
Fuck you, Shia LaBeouf.
First of all, I'm trying
just
to.
separately,
Oh, wait, never
fuck the
mind.
character, but also fuck you, Shia LaBeouf.
I don't mind Shia LaBeouf that much, for the record.
No, you did better in that first Transformers movie than this one, though.
Yes, he absolutely did.
So,
Well, he wasn't in this one because he was on the ground.
in Crystal Skull.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I liked Transformers, but that could have something to do with being a fan of Transformers as a kid and seeing it brought to life.
Watching it on TV.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I do feel kind of like the emotional heartstring it pulls on the son dying is just like out of like it missing any like emotion really throughout the movie.
Yeah,
right?
that was all of
it's
it
like-
in that one scene.
Like we didn't really have a lot in the way of like stakes. We didn't really get like a big emotional tie to Wombat's dad. We
Mr. Wombat.
and which is kind of a shame because like we spent some time with him, but like still we didn't really end up caring too much for him because I feel like pretty quickly it was just like, oh yeah, Indy's like son's dead and that's why he's like doing this like last hurrah because he's like probably kind of hoping he dies, right? Because he thinks he's lost everything.
Yeah, he doesn't really have
so
any
he's like
will for
he's
anything.
like there's 2 options here. It's like I could die and that's fine, or I could help Wombat, find the Dial of Destiny and at least close somebody's circle. It's not my circle, it's not my story anymore, but maybe I can give closure to somebody else and maybe that'll be enough and make up for it.
Now this has bothered me the whole movie, and I almost want to say I'm right, but isn't her dad the dude that was in like Captain America, like as part of Hydra?
He was the
Like
like
the
robot
scientist-
AI
yeah, the
kind of
scientist
thing.
dude that
yeah.
turned himself into a fucking AI. In Civil War, Winter Soldier,
Yeah.
he turns on all like
I
the
think
computer
so.
screen.
Yeah.
That looks like him. Okay, first of all, I just based off of that, I just already did not like his
Like-
character. Yeah, I didn't. To me, he was to me he
Fuck
was dead
this
weight.
character. I don't like who he's been in
He
other
was dead
movies.
weight. Yeah, no facts.
Well, honestly,
if
all I
somebody
could
really
think of-
upsets me in a movie and I see them in a different movie, I'm like, oh, I'm like, you fucking bitch. Like there's no that animosity is always going to be there.
Well, honestly, that's all I could think of with that Schmidt guy, which I don't remember his Nazi name, but I think it was Werner or something. Which, like, of course, with the German.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
it's
Werner.
just the
Yeah.
Meg.
But,
Nazi dude. You can just call him Nazi guy. We know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
all I could think of him was him in Casino Royale. That's all I could think is him crying blood, sitting
Yeah.
at the table playing cards with James Bond.
Now I
Yes.
do because that's Mads Mikkelsen, right?
Yes.
Sure, why not? I don't
Something.
know names.
Yeah, it's something weird like that.
Okay.
So
Um,
I know who you're talking about though.
but
Like the name.
like him, he usually does like. I shouldn't say usually because I don't know really much of anything else he's been in. But like I know he was in Death Stranding. He portrayed a character
Yes.
in there,
Okay.
and I thought
Mads
was
Mikkelsen.
yeah, and I was super interested in that. So it's like that's where I pulled his character from, and was kind of a little disappointed in, I guess that character's portrayal in the movie, just because he did a really good job of like fitting this specific person in the game, and then it's like. I didn't really feel like he was too into this role, or that like there was really much to the character in any kind of way. Because like we just didn't really get too much out of him. And,
Yeah, he didn't say a whole lot.
And anything he did say was just dial
Yeah, that's all it was. He was like Gollum with the fucking ring.
a little bit. Like he was just very,
That's all he
it's
cared
the
about.
obsession, and obsession can make for a really interesting character. But like I feel like there wasn't enough else to him to make it. He's like, oh yeah, I long conned it and landed the Americans on the moon, all so I could have some money and resources to hopefully pick up on this search for the dial, and
Which, to me, it was like,
just whack.
why? First of all, bro, you should have died. Like you should have been dead. Like
I-
when,
True.
bro,
I
that
understand not a
train-
single thing
that
about how that man is
train,
alive.
Like he was on the fucking side of the train. And he got whacked by that fucking bro.
Alexa, how fast do trains move? Is it fast?
In 1945.
How great is the medical recovery from getting smacked by a metal pole?
Bro, in
while
1945,
flying on
if
a
you
train?
broke your fucking shin, they cut your leg off. Like
you
there was
broke-
no such thing as medical.
What
Anything.
about when you broke your head?
They took you out to the pasture like Old Yeller? That's just exactly how that went.
Luckily, he probably fell into a pasture, so
After getting
he should have just laid there and died.
If
Bro.
only they'd have known about the healing powers of pasture, we'd stop taking dogs out to the
telling you,
pasture.
did we even
and
have
just-
penicillin at that
shooting
point?
them.
But like the fact that he hit the way he hit that shit had my mind blown because I was like when he saw
That
it
was the biggest
when he saw it, me and Jason were just like everybody was like oof, and I was literally like, bro, you just got fucked by that.
Oh,
like
and how does he not have some like deformity from that?
Like that-
his
that
whole
would've been
skull
CGI.
should be lopsided. Like,
That's the thing. This
God,
man should
just-
have been.
he should look like Sloth from the Goonies, bro. Like he should.
I was thinking they just CGI his face being caved in, but like in a pole shape, you know?
No, just like
all
like
over.
Sloth's head from the Goonies, but like his eyeball is just popping out real far on
Oh,
one
yeah.
side because it's like because he got hit on the right. So that motherfucker's just barely sitting inside of his eye, like the socket. Like
Yeah,
that's,
they had to do something. It was way too normal.
because when he like turned around, he had his glasses on and everything like normal. I was like, bro,
He looks too good.
Yeah, I was like,
for
buddy,
the amount of damage that should
yeah,
have been
I was
done.
a
like,
scar
buddy,
or something.
Yeah, you ain't even got a scratch.
Yeah.
No scratch, nothing. I'm
Nothing.
like, you ate shit at like 50 miles an hour on the side of a train. That piece of wood probably wasn't feeling very good.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, good.
So maybe so long con here, right? So we go back and it turns out that
Indiana Jones 6.
it turns out that Schmidt went back and got a little bit of dirt from where the Holy Grail was, and then got the Grail. And as long as he keeps the cup on the dirt, he can drink it and get the healing and eternal age properties of it. And that's how he stayed young and not with his face fucking caved in all this time. Is because he just carries around a handful of dirt and a cup on it.
He followed he followed them. He followed Indy the rest of it. Fuck, what year was Crusade in? What did
It
they
had
say that
Nazis
was, like
in it, right?
38? I think they said
The year of the
Crusade was
Nazi.
38.
The year of the Nazis. The year of the Nazis would have been 39 and up.
It came right before the year of the dragon.
Yeah, the big metal one that all the Romans were like, we got to kill their dragon. Good luck, bud.
Yeah.
The fucking other assholes just shooting all the Romans. They don't even know what guns are. They're just getting mowed
down. I
Just
mean,
irrevocably changing the future already. It's like, you better hope all of those people you shot were gonna die anyways.
The thing that blew my mind was like, first of all, somebody was like Hawkeye with one of those big ass fucking spears, because like they were like, we gotta kill this dragon. He was like, I'm
shot.
on it.
He's like,
I'm on it.
Yeah.
Dude, it was bullseye. Like, I was like, bro, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Man, fucking marksman.
So Hawkeye, he was Hawkeye before Hawkeye was
He
Hawkeye.
was Hawkeye first, yeah.
I guess what kills me is, can we get off of the fucking concept? Like, dude, all 4 movies up until now, and then we do it again in the 5th movie, where Indy's chasing something, and then somebody else is chasing it too. Now, I guess if there's no competition, you don't really have the movie, but like, can we find that conflict from somewhere else?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Like, you talked about, you know, Indy was, you know, in the CIA or whatever the fuck in the last movie, right? I don't know. Maybe he comes back for one more mission. He's fucking Indy in the CIA, but like, I don't know, man. Like, just
We
part
need you
of
back,
what-
Indy.
I don't know. Like,
Every time.
I don't. Pull me back in.
They
A lot of
need his help.
crossovers.
They need his help. Jason Bourne's back.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the Wombo combo.
With
Wombat.
Wombat.
I guess, but it's just
Madam
like,
Wombat or something.
I guess
Indiana
that's why I was
Jones.
so sick.
Jason Bourne.
And Wombat.
Al Pacino. I guess that's just what fucking killed me, though. Is like, we're doing the same shit,
Yeah.
you know, and it just doesn't feel like Indy though. I don't know, the boat in the middle of the ocean and the like. Nothing felt indie about this movie, and then the things that did feel indie, it's like, oh, we're doing this again. Oh, they found the thing.
Very, very tired.
Nazis, just
Yeah.
like oh,
Again.
fuck.
Again, Nazis.
Yeah.
Again.
We found it. Look over your shoulder. Fucking Nazi again.
Yeah.
Also, he
Like,
didn't do Indiana Jones things like the whip and the swinging and stuff. Like
No
that, to me,
utilization
that was
of the whip.
all-
All movie.
that was
also,
all-
traps.
there was
Was there a
zero
single
traps.
fucking trap
When
in
they
this
took-
entire?
when they took the fucking dial out of the thing? I thought he was gonna be like, wait, and like do like the
Yes.
little swappy thing.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
you know?
just now realizing not a single fucking trap in this movie. That's such a
It's
disappointment.
a fucking Indiana Jones staple.
Yeah, because Indy's supposed to know. He's supposed to be like, oh shit, like they set up these kinds of traps. I'm so smart. I'm gonna figure out my way around this.
Yeah.
Um,
And all I mean, I guess. Well, all right. Hold on. To be fair, the one trap was they're in the cave and they had to figure out the water displacement thing.
That's a puzzle. That
That's
ain't
a
a
puzzle.
trap. Oh, you know
Well,
it's methane
they were
gas. It's
trapped
methane
in there, and
gas.
If they
Yeah,
stayed,
they could have died.
Also, fucking Helena is in
Wombat.
there choking. Yeah, Wombat. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Wombat is in there choking on it, and you know Indy's just kind of looking around. Okay. Yeah, and she's over there. okay, and you know he's just kind of like, oh yeah, all right. So we're water displacement. He was obsessed.
Well,
with,
it turns out the amount of whiskey that he's consumed, it's lined his esophagus and actually filters out the methane.
okay.
Yeah.
No, that's good to know.
Read a book,
We are
Tyler.
almost there, then, sir.
Yeah.
We are almost there.
I think the last drop of whiskey behind you there will get you there.
Is that? That's probably like 2 shots worth. Do you have any shot glasses in here?
Yeah.
Can I get a shot glass? It's been a minute.
Speaking of shot glasses, has Indy really been shot, I guess, 10 times now? I feel like I don't remember him being shot that
The
many
fact
times.
that he did not die
He's 50 Cent.
being shot.
He's got to be. That's the only explanation.
Dude, they made that shot look like it was like a much more of a
Every
vital
shot
organ
in
thing.
this movie looked like it was center mass, like right in the heart.
Keep talking, because I have a...
Sorry, and also that
I gotta put it together.
The German dude that shot the black CIA chick, that was a hate crime. That was a hate crime.
Yeah, honestly, such a waste of that character, because I thought she was so interesting, and she had, like, I don't know, just her whole aesthetic and character just seemed awesome. And for her to be killed off like that, I thought was the biggest shame.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed to see her die in the plane.
Well, honestly, I expected nothing less because she's black, and they usually kill the black people first.
the only black character
But that's
in
the
the
thing,
movie.
is like
Dot,
she was single-handedly more interesting than the rest of the goons.
facts.
You know, and it's like it's just such a waste of a character.
It was.
It's disrespectful.
Here, I'll switch you because this one's got more in it. Okay. I know you don't really care too much for
I don't know. This and the CIA involvement, and then just Indy being framed from her. I don't know. I was very pissed off. Would you guys like
Yeah,
to?
I honestly don't want to speak too much on the CIA because I'm terrified of them.
Hi, Dave.
Yes, Dave is our guy
Resident
that
CIA
keeps-
guy.
Our
Yeah,
local
he keeps track
CIA
of us.
guy.
Yeah, he keeps tabs on us. His kids are doing great.
His kids are doing great. Really.
Yeah.
I keep talking about it. Ours won't be.
So I'm trying to put a thought together, and this is
Joke's on you, bitch. I don't got no kids.
That's fair.
I'm trying to put this thought together, and it's around kind of just the way like death and murder is kind of handled in this one too, because like Indy's killed a pretty decent amount of people,
Nazis.
and I guess you know that quote unquote it makes it okay to commit murder because it's Nazis and the Nazis weren't people, right? But like it was not exclusively the
Right or wrong? Right or wrong?
Nah, buddy, you right.
it was not exclusively Nazis, right? Like plenty of people have been killed by Indy's hand. That is a fact.
For far less.
Kinda, right?
Yeah.
So I guess the thought I'm trying to go around is this is like the way that like Indy's character kind of like handles and views like death in the situation of like, oh, like I'm being framed for murder because I don't know if just the scenario is different to him because it's like in the U.S. and you know it's like it's the American people rather than just you know
Home turf.
being out of country killing a bunch of bumfucks. Like I don't know if it's just like his character is actually just a bad person and he doesn't care about them because they're not American people.
Maybe that's their.
I mean-
to
But
show
like
you
it,
this
I
movie.
just feel like there was kind of like this odd disconnect of like you know the if we take anybody's affiliations out of context, like the mass murder India's done against people, and then like oh like 2 American people died, and he's like oh I'm being framed for murder. It's these people I know. It's like Indy's got to he's had to have lost like a significant amount of people in his lifetime,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know, I just feel like his like viewpoints on it. And like the way his character like reacts to like the death around him is like he's new,
Yeah.
you know.
No,
It
that's-
felt
that's-
weird.
Well,
I hope I put that thought together well enough. I
I feel like it could be different a little bit, just in this situation, because like those people, like he actually like worked with. You know what I mean? Like these are like
They had
I-
no
I-
skin in the
I-
game either.
I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
but like normally when he's like sending people to heaven, like it's always in like a third world shitty. Nah, I'm not gonna say that. A third. I get.
They aren't people.
We gotta cut that out. we gotta cut that out. We gotta cut that out. It's Jason. Stop. In a third world country or somewhere like far less developed, like, but they're also like bad people.
You're
Like
saying- yeah, you're
genuinely,
saying-
like
If you're in a third world country, you're a bad person.
that's not what I said. You know what? Fuck what I was saying. I don't even fucking remember where I was going now. Okay.
the people he was killing were associated with like bad groups of people or like truly
Right.
Which
antagonistic
are often
factions.
in third world countries.
But it doesn't matter that they're in third world countries. What matters is their affiliation and it being kind of this antagonistic role versus
What Charles
Indy
is
and the
trying to
American
say
people.
is we
No,
should do
no.
a lot of nuclear testing in any third world country.
Wow, that's not what I said.
We don't have to build Nuketown.
Damn. Japan, just in case they thought we forgot, but no, I'm just kidding. We gonna have to cut that out. We gonna have to cut that out.
What? We're gonna cut everything. It's okay.
It's gonna be a lot.
It's fine.
I think the context is pretty okay. Where, you know, plus I don't know if you know this. No one watches this. And the other side of the coin is
If you happen to be offended by this, leave a comment and I will personally send you $10.
easy, easy there.
That's hilarious.
You know, be out a lot of money if somebody would ever, you know.
It's fun because I'll just be like, oh, somebody else commented on another platform. I already sent them to $10. Sorry.
Oh, it's one. Oh, it's
one
the first
person.
Yeah.
one. Oh,
Not
yeah.
everyone, just one.
It was kind of open ended, you know, like
Yeah.
like hey, where's my $10? Where's my $10? Where's my $10? You know.
That's how he usually gets down. He lets people assume, and then he's like,
Read the fine
yeah,
print.
exactly. He's very much
Read the fine print that I'm making up as we go along.
He hits
Fine
you.
print at the bottom.
Lawyers
By
hate
the
this
way,
guy.
You should just have a fucking fine print at the bottom. Just
No. His shit's
It's
though,
just gonna be like
it's-
Lorem
it's-
Ipsum
it's-
too. It's just gibberish.
It's the fine print in between the fine print. So like he really like puts
yeah.
it down.
You gotta zoom in.
like I mean like
Electron microscope.
Yeah.
because he's not about to pay $10.
Yeah.
He's not.
Also, that kid killed somebody, right? Like he's got to live with that for the rest of his life.
And that's why
Hey,
Short
that
Round
shit didn't
kills him.
phase him in the slightest though. Like he
Well,
handcuffed
that was
man.
a pretty desperate.
Short Round, that was his friend that he killed, and that's the Short Round.
That's how
end.
Short Round comes back.
Wait, Wes? They kill. I don't know the guy's name.
Sure.
The big buff guy. I don't remember.
We'll
his
call him
That,
Hans.
that man was built like from 2.5 people. That was not a regular.
Jason was saying.
sized
Jason was saying
person.
2.5.
He is like 2.5 men. That show was based off of a guy who saw this guy
Yeah, and they're like, okay, and what if we separated those men?
into normal sized people and also a half sized people.
yeah.
a half-sized people.
Yeah.
But
One of them becomes a whiny piece of shit. One of them becomes a successful jingle writing pussy hound. And one of them becomes a horny adolescent teenager.
as is tradition,
And that is,
the three faces of every man.
I don't know what network
That is
was.
I think that was
2.5
Fox.
Men. Yeah, and then that is Fox's 2.5 Men.
Very good.
But yeah, no, the kid didn't he didn't even blink. He just handcuffed man to the thing.
That's the
and
thing. Like escaping,
was like-
saving
Survival
yourself is one
instincts,
thing
right?
because
Yeah.
like that giant behemoth of a man was not going to fit through the gate. Like right or
He
the
ain't-
grate.
yeah,
he
he
was
didn't.
not. He was not going to be able to pursue this child.
Which was great.
To be fair, he might have just broke the grate because of how fucking big he was.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. I have expected, like, he's like, you know, he gets above
I thought he was
water,
gonna rip
and
the
he's just
fucking
like,
cuffs off.
And then all of a sudden the dude comes up and he's got the grate attached and just like hits the kid over the head
Ooh,
with the grate.
just splits his shit all the way open.
like fucking out of the water, like, you know, Jason Voorhees.
yeah, I can see
I've
that.
never heard Jason Voorhees make that noise before.
Well, you know what I mean.
You've never watched like the.
At
Deleted
this point
scenes.
is Jason. Oh, all the deleted scenes. Yeah, yeah.
That's the noise he makes. He pops out and he's like,
Yeah, they just gotta edit it out. He's in the. Yeah, he's like.
yeah, just some stupid obnoxious
They
noise.
have to edit it out. Yeah.
You fucking.
Classic Jason.
What if he popped up and made like the noise like Doodle Bob?
Mahoy manoy.
Oh god, I fucking love it. No,
too much.
He just bashes the kid with the fucking grate,
Yeah.
and then the kid ends up looking like Glenn. How fucking
Fucking eyeball. They show the
Yeah.
fucking eyeball popped out, just sink into the bottom.
yep. I mean, realistically, if that behemoth of a man, like if he really, God, these are heavy. If he hit that kid with that grate, that kid, it would have been like Mortal Kombat. Like the kid's head would have just exploded.
Sure.
Like, dude was. You saw how he was manhandling men. Like he was like picking them up like it wasn't shit.
Yeah, the dude was 11 foot 13
Yeah,
at least.
you like you know how strong you have to be to just pick up a grown ass man like he's a child.
Yeah.
Like he picked him up like I would pick my son up. Like, and my son's like 20 pounds. Obviously, the dude can bench press like a dump truck. So like, the kid would have never stood a chance.
No.
He'd have been all over the place,
Yeah.
literally.
He would have used that grate like an apple slicer and just.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, like I mean. He'd have been
God.
He'd have been on the wall. He'd have been in the water,
Where wouldn't he be?
the ceiling. And I mean, he'd have probably been on dude's face too. Let's be real.
Let's be real.
If we're being real, I don't have much else to say about this movie, though.
I want to talk briefly about the boat scene. So when we went underwater and kind of doing the diving shenanigans,
Sure.
and like the eels was like the water snakes,
Yeah.
The water snakes.
and how that was just like kind of
fun.
just another disappointment. Like it did visually like look
Yeah.
kind of cool them being down there, and like at least was somewhat interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But that trying to play at like Indy's fear, and he's like, no, don't call them that. They're not snakes.
Do not call these motherfuckers snakes because they're not.
Oh, by the way, if you only stay under 3 minutes, you won't get the bends.
Yeah.
What?
But they fucking like I thought. Okay, I'm not a marine biologist, but I thought what we learned in school when talking about these things,
Yes.
very briefly, because again, not a marine biologist, was it's the pace in which you come up that will
Okay,
give
so
you the bends, where so you go slow so you don't get it.
And did not Wombat launch
Yes, all
about
of them launched
150?
They all
miles an hour.
Yeah.
Mach 1 underwater. That's exactly
Right.
No, yeah, it's I definitely know
When
what
she
you're talking
surfaced,
about.
her brain was in her butthole.
I pretty much.
Exactly.
I don't.
Butthole was in her brain.
I'm not gonna lie. So I don't think that they were.
She
I don't
came
know
up upside down. That's what happened.
How far were they underwater?
So it was 75.
Assholes in mouth.
Meters.
I don't know what the unit of measurement was. It may have been
I wanna say it
75
was
meters,
meters.
because 75 feet would have been like
75 feet ain't shit. 75 meters.
So maybe it was
sounds-
75 meters and then,
and then
like
the other one-
300 meters.
Okay, so 300 meters. Yeah, I definitely feel like what you're saying. Her ass or her.
I mean,
fucking
they
brain
mentioned
would've
it, right? Yeah, her assholes are mouth. Oh yeah.
been- She just talks and farts and just like the fucking the fish in SpongeBob. Yeah, exactly. Wombat. That she just throws that in at the very end.
Why would she call herself Wombat?
I'm Womp Bat.
Ew. I don't know. It just seemed funny. They also did my man Antonio Banderas dirty as fuck.
Yeah.
Dirty as fuck.
Of course, he was the one with the faulty bends theory, so there's that. And he goes, "You're 3 minutes, you don't get the bends." I'm like, I don't think it's based on time, but
It's definitely not a time based thing. I think it's more of like a how fast you.
there is, and like, look, the amount of things that were, not realistic, whatever, however you want to say, plausible.
Almost nothing in this movie was realistic or
0%.
plausible.
So if we sat here and listed everything, we'd be here all night.
We'd just tell you what happened the whole movie.
We would just read you the plot. So, yeah.
Also, I just want to say I had a really good joke that I said. I told you.
Uh-huh.
Remember how he was like, I haven't seen Wombat in 18 years.
Yeah.
I looked at Jason and I said, oh God. I was like, as any good black father would do.
You can say that.
And then I was like, Tiff is gonna be such a great single mom. It was terrible. It was funny.
No, it's a good one.
It was funny, though.
It was funny.
It was pretty funny. Jason was over there. I felt like he was trying not to snort.
Yeah. I'm trying to hold it together.
Yeah, Indy's fucking at the end, and he says to end this podcast. Indy's fucking at the end, and he reaches out and grabs his hat. Can't fuck without my hat.
You
Can't
think
fuck without
he
the hat.
fucked his goddaughter?
No,
Sorry, that's just.
That's too far.
I thought.
Yeah.
Is it though? Is that not how all the scenarios
exactly
are now
thought-
on porn?
I exactly thought he was going to fuck her. By the way, I've missed the goddaughter part of porn. I've seen a lot of stepdaughter, stepsister. Haven't seen a lot of goddaughter.
Godfather,
porn.
what are you doing?
Oh my god!
Maybe
That's
not.
But then
oddly
you have to
specific.
make it worse because then it's like The Godfather. So it's like you're trying to do a spin and then it's just.
You're gonna blow me. You're gonna blow me on the day of your wedding.
Oh
Oh Jesus!
no. Oh, that's too bad.
That's fucking gold right there. I don't know what you talking about.
All this content and more you can get at our OnlyFans.
All right,
Jesus.
guys, it's been great. It was a good time seeing the movie with you. Good to have you on again. Hopefully that happens more often here in the near future. I don't know. Something's coming up this week. Who fucking knows? I don't know when this is going up. Email us, consequencehotline@yahoo.com, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, all that shit. Thanks for listening, watching, whatever. Goodbye. Fuck this movie.